All right, everybody. Welcome to Third Eye Humor, man. You know, we back. We got Khalid with us. You know what I'm saying? We already feeling good and silly right now. So we're going to go ahead and let Frank finish telling us this story about cognac. You feel me? So let's go ahead and do this.
All right. So to recapture this, I said cognac.
Right.
But what is it?
Cognac.
I don't know. It's like I'm from London, man. We
Right,
don't have
right.
words like that over there.
Well, yeah, like I say, y'all enunciate different, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to throw you a bone.
Yeah, it's
You
like,
know what I'm saying? Like,
aluminum and aluminium.
right.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's the thing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the thing.
aluminium.
Aluminium?
Yeah, that's how I mean aluminium. It's just like a different way of saying.
There's not that many
Right.
U's in I's
Yeah.
in that. Well, they had you. Yeah, they had you playing an undercover cop. At the
Yeah, I was
video.
shooting this video with the Cognac Boys.
Yeah.
Is that
right,
it?
right,
Alright.
right. Not the
And-
cognacs.
Yeah, yeah. And there was just like a music video they're shooting. They got like a theme song now or something. And I was like this cop guy who was like peeking around corners,
Right,
and
right.
like, oh, what they doing now, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
It was fun. We had a good
Alright.
time, and then yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see.
That's a common
What
white
that
boy
looks
part
like.
as an undercover cop.
Yeah, I know. When I was headed there, he was like, wear a black shirt and khaki pants or something. And I was
you
like,
already
oh,
knew what
yeah,
was up.
yeah. I think I know what's going to happen.
Right. Based on the wardrobe. So I mean, like, what y'all got new that y'all want to talk about this week, man? I know you probably got some. You got to
Yeah,
promote
we
your
did,
little show and stuff too, though, man. Like, what you got going on?
It was yesterday.
and
We
stuff?
had the first that Anthony Driver runs the Kill and Be Cool sessions. We did it for the first time yesterday, and it turned out really good. It was a nice big crowd and had some awesome. Ronnie Jordan was there and Dedrick Flynn. Like a lot of killers just went up there and just murdered.
Right.
And it was fun. Everybody had a real good time with it.
So what
We're gonna
was
do it again.
Right.
It's a recurring.
Yeah,
thing
what
now.
what kind of show? Because I noticed there's like a live band and everything, but I didn't.
It's
Right.
comedy to music.
Uh-huh.
So the comics pick a genre,
Mm-hmm.
and then from their genre, we play what they asked for,
Mm-hmm.
and then they do improvised comedy type of thing
Mm-hmm.
to it.
Right.
And it's a leap of faith. Like it's a
And
crazy
where is it?
idea.
You
Yeah.
said the show was good.
The show was really
It
good.
was killer.
It was killer, but the people that put on were also killers. Like
Right. So
So,
the thing is,
I don't think most comics. could
where
handle
where
that.
is it? Y'all gonna do it
Relapse Theater?
again? Y'all gonna do it again?
Yeah, we're gonna do it again.
Okay, so yeah, that's promoting for the next one. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
we just don't
Like,
know
yeah.
when it is. We don't know
Once-
when it is.
I mean,
yet.
you know, yeah, but that's good, man. You know that it'd be nice to walk through life with like the theme music. What your theme song will be your life? Like, I just thought about that.
Staying alive, I don't
Like,
know.
huh?
Staying alive by
Staying
the
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
I
take
don't-
you for a disco time.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of everything.
Oh
so.
man.
so
Goddamn
what
receipts.
you think? Your
Well, I know you had a question for Easy, right?
What?
About where you
What?
like about New Orleans,
What about it?
like where you come from, like stories, like.
Oh,
what's your
like
background? Because
like
we
my-
all know you from here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, I grew up in the lower ninth ward across the canal, man, and everything. And Katrina brought me out here, but it's a different type of city, man. You know, like I like the vibe of the city because you know, like all cities are musical, but it got a certain element to it with it. You know what I'm saying? It still got like a rhythm. It's a different rhythm to the city. You know, like because even in the bad times, you know, like one of the things they used to. You know, I remember the old saying, like, you're supposed to celebrate when somebody die and mourn when they're born. You know what I'm saying? Because you know all the troubles of life. You feel me?
Oh,
And,
okay.
and when they check up out of here, you're supposed to celebrate. That's where the second line funerals and stuff come from. You know what I'm saying? So if you could celebrate like that for a funeral as opposed to the typical funeral, you know, like you go to a funeral, you dressed in all black,
Yeah, I don't
sad,
like
crying,
it.
and
Yeah.
everything like that. But if you got a band around you, your casket, and people dancing, you know what I'm saying, is a different,
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
a
very
different
different
vibe. You know what I'm saying? So we look at it differently down there. You know,
What kind of music do they play?
What,
when
at
they're
the-
dancing?
when
yeah.
at the second line,
yeah.
yeah, it's like jazz. They be having a big
a big
trombone and the. You know, like it might be a guy with a trombone. It's a real small band. It ain't like no marching band or no shit
Yeah.
like that. But,
Oh.
you know, it's like
real lot of few.
right. Every now, you know, hit or miss. You know what I'm saying? Right. But they had the, you know, like they'll have a trombone, trumpet. You know what I'm saying? Somebody might even have a cowbell out there. You know what I'm saying? Band might be as big as 6 people, but they jamming though. You know what I'm saying?
That's enough to
And
Okay, I was about to say because it'd be weird if it was like funky music or disco, like
No, that
Staying
wouldn't.
Alive.
Yeah.
Start playing
Yeah.
Staying
like I
Alive,
say, you
people
gotta
dancing.
understand the whole like culture of the city. It's, like I say, a lot of jazz started in New Orleans and moved up north and stuff in different areas like that. But you know, yeah, it's real. You know, it's a
Still
difference.
makes a lot of people. I feel like.
Yeah, it is. It's a gumbo pot of people. You know, because you had the French. Like if you go back generations, you had the French and Spain controlled all the middle part of the United States. That was the whole Louisiana Purchase was about, and all
I
that.
remember that.
Yeah, all that kind of concentrated
Vaguely.
down there in Louisiana, and it just had a whole effect. Like the structure of it is real. It still deals with a lot of French themes and stuff like that. So
That sounds
yeah,
better.
but the horror parts, I mean, I remember seeing a person, you know, get shot in the head and stuff like that. So I don't know what part of the New Orleans you're talking about, the tourist side or the actually living in the city.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying?
How big is the tourist part related to like the whole city?
It's big business. I mean, come on, man. This the only street. I mean, it's the only place you could come now to, and a woman can show her breast for beads. You know what I'm saying? And it's accepted.
Yeah, that's pretty.
You feel
It's
me?
not accepted in
Yeah,
Vegas.
it's a nice place.
No.
I mean, Vegas, they don't even want to talk about Vegas. The motto of Vegas is what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna attract you with the gambling, but it's all other kind of stuff that, you know, like they advertise. That was a commercial. What happens here stays here. You know, if that don't sound creepy, you know what I'm saying? That sound like what R. Kelly telling girls.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I'm saying? That he got in the house over there. You know, what happens here stays here. You know what I'm saying? Like, but this is your advertisement
Like
as
the
a
slogan
city.
is just
Yeah.
hush. Like this is a creepy city.
Right. You know, so Vegas is Vegas. You know what I'm saying? New Orleans, like I said, is a party city. You know what I'm saying? People come down there and party. Like Bourbon Street, I remember, you know, like being on Bourbon Street, man. And I watched this episode of Cops, you know, because they've been doing New Orleans lately a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like around Mardi Gras and stuff. Like, and to see them throw them dudes down there in that soup, that gumbo, that juice that be on the street, you know what that is? That's a little bit of everything, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like if the police wanted to arrest me on Bourbon Street, I'd just like point me out to the car, bro. I'll get in it myself. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to wrestle me down here in this end, then you're going to have me have to wait up in the damn holding cell, marinating in this stew of DNA and just everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, like, you know, that's a party city. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that type of city.
I feel like
so.
it's like a country city. You know what I
What?
mean? Like New Orleans, I feel like it's like a little bit of both. Kind of like how Atlanta
Well,
kind of
is
has a
a-
reputation.
you know what?
I mean?
Is it
like
like
a small, big city?
Yeah.
And that makes this kind of
It
like
is a small city with a nice population.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like its population is at the Brinks or something like that. You feel me? But yeah, I mean, you know, it's a neat city, man. You know, my little experiences in it was fun. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's all I mean. Like I could really say. You know,
you
what
saw
I'm
it on
saying?
Cops. That's always fun watching your city on Cops.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Now you're gonna look at that.
It's like that's my
that-
Kroger right there.
Now you're gonna look at that stew a little different. You know what I'm saying? That juice on the ground and be like cringe knowing what it is now.
What color is it?
Like you used to, huh?
What color is it?
What color is it? Black? I mean, it's a liquid that
It's like
matches the
oil.
ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't,
Color.
Every color is thrown together.
Yeah.
right? I never analyzed it like that, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's too many people that want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So there's no scientists down there collecting this fluid. Is all I'm saying.
No, shoot. I
You know?
probably burnt the rubber. Or
I
something.
mean, they probably should. You know what I'm saying? Just in case the world is ever destroyed and there's a few people left. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go scoop that, you got the DNA of the whole population. You can just restart. You know what I'm
Revitalize
saying?
it.
Right.
Like Jurassic Park.
It's probably like
clone
even
that
dinosaur DNA in there. But like,
gosh, that'd be
I
like-
don't even know what's in there, Gabe. It's
They
like,
come back looking all weird though.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna look right.
Yeah,
Right.
The eyes gonna be in the wrong spot.
right.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know, man. But, it, you know, like I said, it was a unique city and everything. Feel me? So I mean, well, where you from?
I'm from Macon. I grew up in Macon, Georgia.
And I'm listening.
Okay, James Brown.
It's,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
that's the-
Right? Huh?
James-
No, James Brown is from Macon.
No, he's not.
He not?
I mean, like he probably had family in Macon. Otis
Okay.
Redding from Macon.
Otis
Okay,
Redding.
okay.
Little Richard from Macon.
Okay.
I think that's it.
That's about it.
Right.
I was about to.
So what's the environment like? Like what it was
I
like?
mean, it's like a little bit of everything.
How it influenced you?
Like, I don't know if it really influenced me though, but like it's.
Made an impression on you. You know
I mean,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
because I stayed there. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit of everything. Like, you know, it's a good side of town, it's a bad side of town. Macon now, I don't know if it still has a reputation of being dangerous.
Right.
I used to call it Georgia's Detroit.
Right,
'Cause,
right,
like,
right.
It was like bad at one point.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And you know, I think it's kind of slowing down. But I mean, like you got murder everywhere.
Right.
So you can't say Macon
Well,
is.
it like I've only been to Macon one time, and I remember there was like a decent part, and then we were like driving down a road, and then it like immediately like there was like a railroad or something, and there was like a line of like nice houses, and
Then on the other side of the tracks, it was different.
yeah,
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 it was,
you
like,
get to
more
that shadowy
down.
place real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like on Lion King. Like, but it, you know, but it's like that everywhere. I don't.
The Lion King.
Yeah, you know, like you can see it. Like you can stand in the good part and then see the bad part. Like everybody knows where not to go. Like
Right.
parts of Bloomfield is bad. Like parts of East Macon is bad. But not all of East Macon is bad. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah,
So,
which
like,
I was gonna ask actually. I had a question for you guys. Like, how do you know, like, without knowing where you are? Like, if you were just following your GPS, like, what's like a tell of like an area of the city, like Atlanta? For
That you need to
example?
start rolling your windows up.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, once you start seeing one too many gun and liquor stores, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like the hi, welcome to the city sign, you know,
Yeah.
city limits. You feel
Also,
me?
we see a lot of people posted up against walls and stuff, just
Yeah.
waiting on
Yeah.
business. That's another thing.
Because my tell so far has been how much trash I see on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Like if I'm driving through somewhere and I just see a bunch of like
When you-
like Chinese
Dodge
food
Chargers.
boxes.
Yeah, when you come into the city, that's any city though. Like you know, because you got like if you look at New York, you're gonna see trash everywhere in New York. There's a bunch of people. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, you know, not saying it's a trashy city because I don't want to start no East Coast, West Coast beef again, and they come at me. My city ain't trash. No, what I'm saying is you're gonna see more trash in the city because it
lot of
produces a lot of it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got so defensive about James Brown because he's from Augusta.
Well, I'm
Y'all ain't really got anybody though, right? Like who else is from Augusta?
Pastor Troy.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Oh.
Who else is from there? Woodrow Wilson lived there when he was a kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
But he's not from there.
Amazing.
Amazing. No, yeah.
But no, I didn't even know about James Brown from Augusta.
Yeah,
I
we
just know
have-
he
we
wasn't
have
really
James
from Macon
Brown.
like that.
No. We have James Brown Boulevard, and we have a statue of him. We
Yeah.
take a lot of pride in. He lived and died there too. Like he stayed there.
That's cool.
I ran into him when I was a little kid too.
James
Cause we
Brown.
wanted James Brown so bad, but I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't think he's from here though.
I
You
I
kinda
always
confirmed
thought
it,
he was from, but okay,
Cause
so
we got like no real monuments to him.
Wait.
Like we got an Otis Redding statue.
I don't think he has a Macon thing. I think he did shows in Macon and stuff.
that we just
but
wanted. We
yeah.
just wanted him.
I
Try
think he
to claim
started
him.
off
Yeah.
maybe a little bit in Macon, but he's I don't know. Dude's really from the woods. If we really get down to it, like
Yeah.
he's from outside of Augusta, close to South Carolina, kind of in that like area.
Yeah, but see,
Because
like
Augusta connects to South Carolina. Like
Okay,
North
okay.
Augusta, South Carolina.
it's like right there together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cause like if anybody's like in like small surrounding cities of Macon, we try to claim Young Jeezy, back in
What?
like 04, 05. Cause he
Really?
got like
Yeah.
an aunt that teaching like a middle school down there or something like that. So we'll try to claim anybody. If you
Yeah.
stay in like Hawkinsville, you ours. Like,
Yeah.
like if you stay in Hawkinsville, move to Atlanta and got famous, you from. We gonna claim
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So that's just how we
Wow.
work. But like I said, it's not a bad city though. I ain't gonna like talk trash on it because it ain't a bad city.
Well, Macon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
People around Atlanta just view anything outside of Atlanta as being
outside of
not
Atlanta.
nothing. People think
Yeah.
Augusta's country and whatnot. Like it's really not.
Yeah.
Because you talk to people from Macon, they think Augusta's a big city.
I did though.
I know it's
though.
bigger
Yeah.
than Macon. Because I've been to Macon. It's not hard.
Macon's bigger than you think, though. Like,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like, I don't know which part you were in. Or
You could look
which
at it at a
direction you
certain
came.
angle and see some buildings lining up a little bit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
all right, it's coming together
Yeah.
a little bit.
See, I'm trying to figure out how to share this page, man. I got it though. But go ahead, my bad.
You good? You good?
I know I didn't got quiet on y'all.
It's like
I'm trying
math
to
over
figure
there
out
to
this.
you. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's that old man right there.
do
dog.
y'all still like use y'all fingers when y'all do like regular addition?
No.
Like 12 plus 4? Y'all don't?
No. I'm
When you do
decent.
regular
I'm
what?
pretty decent at math. Not the fancy
I
stuff.
will say I really
but-
mess up adding it up when I'm doing a receipt, like signing off on a tab. You gotta put
Oh,
the
yeah.
tip down
do
and
that-
add it
do
up.
this
Well,
right
just
here,
put
yeah.
like
With the
just,
decimals and whatnot, it gets.
what? Don't do decimals. Like I always used to hate it when
There's
I
always
get
a
decimal
decimal.
tips
Just don't
because
do 'em.
no, like seriously,
Not do
no, don't do decimals. Just leave the cents part where it is, and then just tip dollars. Because then you got to go to like cash out your tips at the end of the night, and you've got like 154 cents. Now you got to get yourself 54 cents. It's just a pain, you don't want that 54 cents. You want another dollar.
I kind of know what he's talking about, but like not really.
What? It's like I used to hate having to get change when I worked at Waffle House. I just when I would cash out my tips, I just get full dollar amounts. Right? You feel me?
Yeah.
Oh, so we still back on it, Matt. We was talking about the math and counting and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like using your fingers.
Alright.
And I'm a programmer, like, and I'm
for real?
not good at math. Like,
Yeah, math-
I
math-
embarrassed myself in
yeah.
front of my manager. He was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"What's 5% of 10?" And I was like,
Oh,
You
I
got
don't
me.
know.
You know,
he was like, "No, 5% of $10," and I was like,
50 cents.
$2. He was like 50 cents.
Yeah.
Right.
wait, it's 50 cents?
Yeah.
And I didn't know
I
that.
thought it was $2.
That's what I thought.
No, that's 20%.
Yeah,
of
when I said-
$10.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Right.
said $2. He looked at
That's
me
like
like
easy math.
another percent.
And I just started in like August too. Like,
Right.
he had that look. I'm like, man, I hope he don't regret this decision.
math ain't never been a good subject for me neither. You know what I'm saying? I always like English. You know what I'm saying? But math is like, especially like when they went to getting into like replacing numbers with letters and stuff, algebra and all that stuff like
Yeah.
that. I kind of checked out in my senior year and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like, what they call it, plagiarized a lot of, answers and homework and stuff like that. But it was like, yeah. I'm like, why we need letters? You know what I'm saying? Like when I go to the store, I'm not paying you with like 10 Y's. You know what I'm saying? Like,
What?
you feel where I'm going? Like,
Yeah.
like I ain't gonna give you 10 Y's, man. Y's we changing it up. You know what I'm
why you
saying?
changing it up?
Yeah, you changing it up on
Why
me
you have
now.
to bring the
Right.
alphabet into this?
Right.
It has no business. When you're talking about language, no, you don't start talking about numbers and
Right.
multiplications.
I'm not a computer. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
the computer would need. Well, like no, because the computer uses like ones and zeros to communicate.
Even,
So
At
even you ain't even
at
do
the
that.
machine level, yeah, it's
You
just
ain't even
zeros
do that
and
to the-
ones. But people
Really?
ain't typing zeros and ones. That's
Yeah.
binary.
No, I'm saying, but
Yeah.
is that how you get porn on the screen? What is that?
At the
All
at the
come down to
at the
binary?
base
It's in
at the
there.
base,
Yeah.
those breasts are zeros and ones. But
right. You
at the
seen
bi-
you
at
seen the
machine,
Matrix.
at the machine level.
You seen the Matrix. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once you get into the rabbit hole, you see like it ain't nothing but ones and zeros when you look at the breast, like you just said.
Yeah,
You feel me?
zeros and ones.
Good way to
man.
think about it. It takes the magic
Sexy.
out of it.
Yeah.
It takes the spirit of
Yeah.
porn right out of
Right.
it.
Never gonna be able to
Just a
watch
bunch of
any ever
numbers.
again.
Yeah, nothing to turn you off like some math. Man.
Yeah,
But see, you know what? And this is why you have to find like, I mean, I know how I think, and that's why I gotta have the sense of humor that I have. You know what I'm saying? Because I look at stuff in that deeper detail if I don't, catch myself. Because the thing is, like when you're looking at that, like the breast is ones and zeros now. Think about this on a scientific level. When somebody passes gas, right, and you smell it, that's particles. You know what I'm saying? Like they just gave you a piece of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that
In
you know,
your nose
right?
now.
Like we just a bunch of just fart particles
I keep that in mind too.
passing through life, man.
That's why
It's like-
that's why I keep my toothbrush outside of the bathroom, so when I take a dump, it doesn't affect while I'm brushing my teeth.
Well, you
with.
could just like rinse it off before you.
Yeah, well, rinsing.
particle. Like when you talking,
No,
got-
put like peroxide on it.
right? You gotta get
Peroxide?
you into
before
chemicals
you
and stuff now.
toothbrush, 'cause
Yeah.
you can put that in your mouth and it won't like poison
You
you.
can. You can put peroxide in your mouth.
Yeah, people gargle
I
with
mean,
it.
it wouldn't-
Yeah.
I
Oh, I
mean,
see.
yeah,
And,
don't
like,
People brush
swallow
their
it.
teeth
Yeah,
with.
don't swallow it. Don't drink
Yeah.
it. Just like spit it back out.
no. Gabe told me to do this. That's how you get a good palate.
like peroxide. Like they used to use peroxide to brush their teeth with like baking soda.
Yeah.
Stripes and
Baking soda and peroxide. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Yeah.
like
That's
it's
what
a
my
bleach.
grandmother
It helps
would do.
bleach your teeth. Make
Right.
it, yeah.
My grandma doesn't really have teeth. But
Nah.
Oh,
She might soak
fix it
them in
then.
it.
Like,
Right. Nah, man, but I was okay. So what y'all think about Trump and the whole little? Look, the big.
how long were you waiting?
No, because I
Put that
thought
in.
it came through. Because I'm gonna tell you, they try to play Trump like he crazy, but he's a good roaster, man. You know what I'm saying? Because he roasted Kim Jong Un and called him Rocket Man.
Oh,
you know what I'm
dude.
saying?
oh, he did call him
Rocket Man, like you know, Little Rock. I'm not worried about Little Rocket Man. That's a good joke right there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right?
but the big button thing when he told him that his he got a bigger
his
button.
button.
Like,
Yeah,
what you
that's so
think
crazy.
about? Like,
Yeah.
what you think about
Not
that?
good,
That
dude.
just shows he don't know what he's talking about. Cause it sounds like somebody just like trying to say what you just said back to
you
him.
don't
I
wanna
gotta
be-
look up my favorite Trump tweet because it made me laugh so
He
hard.
got some classics, man. You got to give him his props. Like he wasn't meant to be president, but he was
That's what I'm saying.
meant.
You don't want a roaster as a
He,
president.
but I'm
Yeah.
saying he was meant to be a roaster.
He's
He
just a regular dude that's just
Alright.
president. And that's
Right.
that's why
There's
he
no
like, that's why he looks so
prestige.
crazy.
There's
like,
no
'cause we-
prestige to him
yeah,
at all, right?
Because you expecting that like prestige, but
Right,
you don't
right.
get that. You got a regular guy like that. Thing about the president when he first got elected, he was like he talked to the president of was it the Virgin Islands or something like
Uh-huh.
that.
Oh, yeah,
And
it
a
turned
president,
out.
some country that he didn't know didn't have a president.
Right.
And then I
Oh, it was a U.S. territory. It was Puerto Rico.
or something like
and he
that.
was really the president of it, and he thought he was talking to the president and all this stuff, and it turned out to be.
It wasn't Puerto
It-
Rico.
it was some- it was-
there was something. It was like over there. It's like Taiwan.
yeah, that's what it
Taiwan
was.
is like.
So wait, what
And
did
I
he
didn't
say,
know
though?
they didn't have a
What-
president either.
What did
Like-
he do? He
He
like
just talked to. It was just some dude on the phone. Just I guess like.
Yeah, but he thought he was talking to the president of Taiwan, but
Right.
there is no
Yeah.
president of
right,
Taiwan.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
how
just he'll put
What?
this dude on the phone with him, like.
But we all would have got tricked by that
Yeah.
that's
for
true.
the
Right.
most part. That's what I'm saying. He's just a regular dude.
Like who didn't tell him before he got on that phone call?
Yeah, like
Someone was like,
Wikipedia
"You're gonna
before you
speak to the
answer."
president of Taiwan." He was like, "All right," and like,
Yeah.
that's not just his mess
You
up.
gotta keep
But,
Wikipedia.
dude,
to
Like
make
the-
sure,
Yeah,
like,
I
it's a
got
real
this
person.
tweet that
You
I
know,
laughed
you gotta Google
so
everything
hard
you
at.
hear when you the president and you ain't trained to be the president.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause
So he was like, "Why would Kim Jong Un insult me by calling me old when I would never call him short and fat?"
Right, I remember that one.
I was like,
right,
"That's like the funniest."
right.
That's like a classic roast right there.
Right. He didn't. He didn't say it, but he said it. You
That's
feel
like
me?
a sneak peek.
Like
That's
I
so
would
funny.
never call you, but I'm saying it right now. So I'm saying it. You know what I'm saying? He classic, man. I like the paper towel when he was shooting them like Steph
oh
Curry.
yeah.
To the crowd.
So
He passing out. Hey, he passing out the paper towels like
And
it's
he
Mardi Gras. You know what I'm saying? Like he's
Yeah.
throwing cups or something like that. You know what I'm
It'd be
saying?
funny
bead.
if it'd be funny if he shot. He should have shot him out a t-shirt gun.
Yeah.
That
Like
would
they
have
do
been
with the hockey
hilarious.
game.
Yeah.
These are the basic necessities these people need. You feel me? And
Yeah.
you're not passing them out like the Pope or none of that. You know what I'm saying?
Turn it into a
Like
celebration.
Kobe,
Jordan, like, you know what I'm saying? He calling out, but that was funny. I like him as a
But I
comedian.
would have did that too though.
As a comedian,
but I don't know if
he's
he's
endless,
joking.
man.
Yeah, he's fun.
He's endless, bro. The
Yeah.
material, like Obama, kind of made it hard. You know what I'm saying? So it had to be a counterbalance for comedians. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you couldn't really get on the president when Obama.
Well, wasn't
was
it like Chappelle was talking about in like some interview before his first specials came out earlier this year? He was like, "I've always hated political humor about things. Like I hated it when we were all making fun of Bush. I hated it when we were just all praising Obama,
Right.
like comedians, and I hate it now that everyone's just going off about Trump. And I was like, I totally agree with that.
Right.
Like, that was before I started comedy that I saw that interview, and I was like, I totally agree. Because I started watching Bill Burr's 2016 special,
Right.
and like he literally comes out with we're about to have the election. How do we get? And I was just like, I gotta watch this later. Once I cooled off, like I can't.
There's a lot of it. Yeah, it's a lot
Yeah.
of people talking about the same thing.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's the easiest subject to cover. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're talking about a easy laugh, if you know what you're doing. You know, like I say, Trump write himself. You feel me? Like just off of him doing the toilet. I mean, I was about to say toilet paper.
Paper towel.
Paper towel.
There you go.
Yeah, just like him doing. I mean, he probably got down to the toilet paper and was doing the same thing. You know, I don't
Yeah.
think it stopped with the paper
Yeah.
towel. He had fun with that day. You feel me? Because he wasn't on the golf course. You know, like
Yeah.
that. So he had to entertain himself some kind of way.
I really just see nothing wrong with that though.
What?
Like him just shooting them like.
No, right.
uh,
Well, I'm
but
saying
people tried to flip it like something was
But
wrong with it, but
the thing is, it's not that anything was wrong with it because he's passing out the paper towels. He's just not doing it how you want him to do as the
Yeah.
president is what I'm saying. You feel me? That's the issue that a lot of people have with it. You know what I'm saying? Like you supposed to be out here representing us as a nation, and there's a certain image you want to. You know, they always had with the president of the United States.
Yeah.
Because you gotta remember, Al Sharpton ran for president at one time before. Would you would have been cool with Al Sharpton as president? You know what I'm saying? Like as opposed to Obama, as far as the images go of who you wanted to be the first
Yeah.
quote unquote black president. You feel me? So yeah, I mean,
Al Sharpton as president, I would be curious how that would be.
what?
No.
Al Sharpton?
as president?
I don't know. I don't know.
I would take it over Trump. The thing about the Trump thing is, I remember like in school, they always talked about the president being like the hardest job. It's like the crazy, and then you see him doing, you're like, I could do this. Like, it doesn't look that hard.
Well,
I don't think-
It's just like I had this like really high demand kind of energy job. Like always have to be working. It was like 60 hours a
He
week kind of
doesn't look
deal.
like he works
and
like
then
that.
like, well, it just hit me like this is what it would be like to be president.
All right.
Like to be spending literally any moment of the day you're on call, you're always working, you're always doing stuff. You,
Right,
you don't have
right.
a lot of time. And I was like, yeah, I could never be president.
Yeah.
Also, I wasn't born in this country.
I mean,
So-
just like the weight of knowing that you have the button, you feel me, would kind of be like, okay, I kind of determine if I could wipe out like a whole nation by pressing this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot of weight on you mentally to have that many. Like, unless you like a sociopath or something like a Trump where you would brag on it and be like, my button bigger. Like I could take out more nations than you. You know what I'm saying? It's basically what you telling me. You feel me? Like that's when you're talking about the button because it deals with nukes. You feel me? We ain't talking about no regular just like
Well,
trigger or none of
Don't
that.
they not do it? What's the name of that movie with Gerard Butler and Aaron Eckhart? It's like the second one's about London, the first one's about the White House. What's the name of that movie?
I don't know.
It's not White House Down. That's the other White House movie.
Olympus has fallen.
Yeah,
Olympus
Olympus
Has
Has
Fallen,
Fallen. There
yeah.
you go.
Okay.
And then like they have Aaron Eckhart in the bunker.
I didn't know. I know that.
yeah. Like, and they've gotta like coerce each other like to hit all three switches.
All right.
You know, kind of deal like Secretary of State and a few other people have them or something. You know.
But that's harder to pull off, man. Like you will want. I don't know. I mean, because me personally, I think like you say you from London.
Yeah.
I like the way y'all operate as far as like dealing with the police. You feel me? The police aren't armed.
Yeah.
They got billies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me personally, you know, I had this conversation with somebody because, you know, they were talking about Second Amendment rights, right to bear arms and all this stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't have a problem with whether or not you have the guns or take the guns. But if you're going to take the guns, nobody should have them. That's actually walking through society like
Including
London with
cops.
the police. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'd be hard to do. To,
Here,
like,
yeah.
what order would you do that between, like, if you had more higher, like, gun control? Kind of like Australia, they had a big shooting,
Right.
and then they all just got rid of all the guns.
But you got to realize the gun, what they call it, the guys that run the, anyway, it's an older white dude with glasses. I can't think his name, but he like the head of the damn gun people or whatever.
Oh, yeah. That,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he like the gun industry has a foothold in America. That's why it's hard to get rid of them. You know what I mean? Like they, you know, like
They got a lot of money.
Yeah, they make a lot of money, man. So and that's what is here. That like in America, our politics are financially based now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not really about the voters. You know what I'm saying? What it's about is who could afford to go pay this guy to pass this law.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the gun control industry or whatever the heck they call them.
Yeah, and if they legalize them, like I feel bad for the dude who's got to go confiscate that shit in the South because they're just gonna be like,
it's gonna be mayhem. Yeah, it'll be mayhem. Like that'll be because
they're not
like
gonna just give it up. I've seen all those bumper stickers. I don't know if they mean it or not. That you got to pry it out of my dead finger. And all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if this old man means it or not. Like
Right.
he might. Like,
But like I say, either you take everybody guns or anybody can have one.
So
You know what I'm
like,
saying?
So
Like
how do you like make that switch though? Because like if they do have like, let's say they just took everyone's guns. Is there
Well, they're
like
not
a
gonna
date
do it
where
like
you're
that.
like, okay, the police, like who takes them first? Do you
What-
like police?
what's gonna happen,
When do they lose
or the way
guns?
that would play out if you're looking at it from a political standpoint, is they will have to create a popular opinion based amongst the people that guns are bad. You know what I'm saying? Which would lead them to be able to pass a law to sit back and say, okay, well, we're going to take the guns off the street out of the hands of the civilians. You know what I'm saying? Now, once they pass a law, the majority of people in society is going to go with it. The people you worried about is like the militias and stuff like that sit back and say, no, I got a right to carry this to the end. You know what I'm saying?
it's like a lot of the South though.
Yeah, I mean, no, because you got the militia is heavy in the Klan. Even the Klan is heavy in like Michigan and stuff like that. Like you got to realize slavery was all over America. It wasn't just in the South. You know what I'm saying? It was in the North too.
I didn't even know it was in Michigan.
George Washington had slaves. You know what I'm saying? Slavery was all over America. You know what I'm saying? And the thing was, when they sat back and they had the division between the North and the South, that was solely based on the fact it was like a financial decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, because to sit back and have all of these slaves picking this cotton in the South and stuff like that, that made the southern states powerful, you know, to compete.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They were getting free money. And then when you go back and you look at the North was doing the same thing. But when they decided that it was going to be a split, the slaves weren't freed because they were just doing the morally correct thing. They was freed because it was a strategic move. Because you got to realize they hadn't found gold yet with George Washington and all of them. And then when they were going into...
that was later.
Yeah, that was later on down the line. So if I free my slaves in the North, how can I afford to pay them if they free now? That's when you got the, England and stuff like that back in the currency of America. Because you got to realize a lot of these state leaders and stuff, even Benjamin Franklin and all them, were actually statesmen in England, London, or something like that. They were, but you over here writing laws for America. It's deeper than that, man. You know what I'm saying? I could talk about that all day, but
Learning, yeah. I thought it was in the South mainly because of like the farmland and stuff. I don't know what you could farm up in Michigan. You know what I mean?
They pull it. I
they
mean,
had like factories and stuff.
it was more
And-
industrialized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, they did. But I mean, like up north though, and like in the South, the whole economy was just slavery based. But up
Well,
north,
yeah, it
the
was
economy was based
agriculture
on
and-
They
like
were a little more
in industry.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
industrialized.
So
You
that's
know
why
what I'm saying?
like north, they there might have been there was some slaves up there, but
Right.
they weren't as gung ho about slavery as the South was.
Yeah, 'cause
I
they
mean,
didn't
I
need to be.
I don't
So
know.
They didn't need to be,
Right,
so to
right.
speak. Like they didn't
Right.
like go
the
out
South put
and
all the
find
money
those
into
kind of
slavery.
workers.
So
Yeah, all
they
their chips was in that slave basket. That's
Yeah.
why when the
Right.
Civil War hit and they was like beefing, slavery wasn't an issue till later into the Civil War.
Right,
'Cause
that's what I'm
that was like
saying.
a wager.
So
like, if we win, then
the
you gotta
thing will
give away
go back
slaves.
to who
Yeah.
who was able to fund the industry.
Yeah.
You feel me? If both of y'all are starting over here as a new nation, North and South,
Yeah.
you feel me? Who was able to come in and fund you building these buildings and stuff like that if you hadn't found money yet? You feel me? The reason slavery was in a high demand in the South. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go on with that story, like who was funding the North? Because they was picking whatever up North before you got into the industry. Cars, they didn't come over here with cars, and they were still riding horses and stuff like that. You feel me?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a difference. Like,
Yeah.
it's deep, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's like,
So, like I said, that just have me like have to have a sense of humor because I look at it that deep and goes back to what I was saying about the particles. You know what I'm saying? From a fart, like you nasty dog, like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you just gonna violate my nose like that. You know, feel me? So, but I look at stuff that deep, and you gotta have a sense of humor. Otherwise, you be the crazy dude on the corner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
crazy easy over there, man. You know, like I be the joke for the kids and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. That's what I was talking about. I was thinking about for. I don't even know how we got there for Trump with this down button, but that was the thought. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I was thinking that was making me think of that one time I was at Relat. You weren't there, but me and like someone else, a few other guys, like college came up somehow. And like someone said just the phrase college used to work at a falafel stand.
Which I did.
Yeah. And then this girl just blew up and started yelling at us like, "Oh, you think all Arabs should work at falafel stands?"
Right.
And we were like, "What?" She was like, "You racist." It was like, "What?"
Right, people they over tense with race. Like it's funny, you know what I'm saying? Like race, you know, like even if it was to actually happen, you know what I'm saying, and you stated, you know what I'm saying, she doesn't take the time to figure out whether it really happened or not. You just automatically became a racist. You know what I'm saying?
It was weird, man. And
Well,
that made me. I was like thinking about it. I was like, isn't that like racist in
In
itself?
itself, yeah,
'Cause, like,
exactly.
People who are racist, like Nazis or like anyone like that, they like are kind of creating racism where it doesn't exist, and they kind of doing it themselves, right?
Right.
Whereas this girl was doing the exact same thing. She was like creating racism in a
interesting.
situation
Right.
where it wasn't, but instead of like
Nah,
taking
it
it on
is.
herself, she was like projecting it on the other people.
Right.
So that's like a form of racism.
You know what?
right?
It's
And the funny thing about racism, real fast, is that like, there's so many friendships I've had that's built off of insults. You know what I mean? Where like, if just being an Arab kid in the South, like you're going to be made fun of, even still.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then that's usually, and then you make friends if you do the same thing back, and then sure enough, it's through humor, but it's humor based off of like insults, kind of like the roasting type of thing.
Yeah.
Like
Then you become friends, so that's when a lot of people they go like, we need to stop with the insults or stop with this, that, and the other. It's like this is how some people bond.
But see,
You know what I mean?
that's a good chemistry you got. You know what I'm saying with
Yeah.
that person. Like, is a bond made of like, cause you know you're not being like mean spirited in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and but it take time to actually, you know, I guess chop it up and realize y'all both come from the struggle and stuff like that. So it's just a natural like
Well, and also
bond.
the thing is that like the people I'm nice to are not the people I know the best. It's like the more you get to know a person, then you start being like, you know,
Right.
you
Yeah,
start
yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of making fun of whatever, or you be more real with them on things that annoy you and not. Like
Yeah.
that's when you're really comfortable with somebody. When you're
Right.
all nice and it's nothing but compliments. That's like how
Yeah.
I talk to my grandmother and stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's not how. So I don't know.
Yeah, you get
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
them.
That's why I'm not with a lot of some of the comics.
Yeah,
are
you
with.
get to see them at their like a person in their natural state or something like that.
Yeah,
you
it's
feel
just
me?
being comfortable,
Yeah.
like how these regulars supposed to interact.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wait, now what you were saying like cuz you were saying about the race and I had a thought and it was about
Well, I was saying that like there's like two kinds of racists in my opinion. There's
Right.
racists who are racist. They like create the racism,
Right.
and then they kind of take it on themselves, and then those who kind of create it and then project it on other people.
and you know, because I used to always look at, or when I came into like looking at, you know, the issue of race, you know, I like be like social taboos and stuff. I be trying to like figure out and stuff. But when you look at the issue of race, it's like you were saying, if somebody sits back and says, "I'm colorblind,"
Oh,
what are you colorblind to?
Yeah.
You feel me? Like right then and there, you're showing just a spark of or a grain of you recognizing me as being different.
Yeah.
Which I am. But let's
It's
embrace
like
it.
those black and white movies.
Yeah, you don't
it's
have
like
to.
You could still.
If it's a good chemistry, is what I'm saying is it wouldn't even have to be brought up that you are. Your actions will back that up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you gotta feel like as though you gotta announce it first, it's like you know you still telling me you gotta. It's a little problem.
Oh yeah, if you have.
You
to
know what I'm
say
saying?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have to say it, if me and you just genuinely get along, and that's what you see, like especially at our level with the dealing with the open mics and the, stuff like that, doing the comedy and stuff, is a lot of different culture. Like it's all different shades. You know what I'm saying? But we like to me, comics are like critical thinkers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you could look at what somebody would sit back and say is a taboo issue and find humor in it. You feel me?
Yeah.
And the only way you can find the humor in it is when you critically think about it. Like, am I because like society tells you what you're supposed to be offended by. You feel me?
Yeah.
But a comedian will sit back and be like, I ask that question, like, am I really offended? But like when just Richard Pryor did the stand up about him setting himself on fire.
Oh yeah.
And he was talking about the dude that he had seen set himself on fire on purpose, the monk. And it was a joke that he did. I can't remember the joke totally, but the idea behind it was like he sat back and like, he accidentally set himself on fire and lost his stuff, you know what I'm saying? But this dude did it intentionally, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a bad boy right there. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, cause fire, we used to always have this conversation about like, cats just philosophizing in the hood and be like, man, how would you rather die by fire or by drowning, right? Yeah. And cats be like, man, I think I take the water, you know what I'm saying, thinking it's an easier route, but I'm like, man, you ever not was able to breathe, you know what I'm saying, and if you breathe in and finally catch your breath, you getting a lung full of stuff you're not supposed to be breathing, you know what I'm saying, you drowning. Yeah, that's a whole nother, like, I know the fire, because a cigarette ash will make you cause a 20-car pileup. If you hit, if your cigarette fall in your lap, you know what I'm saying? So we ain't even talking about the whole car being on fire. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I never really was able to answer that question. Like, it goes back to.
I would take fire.
I fire, yeah.
I want to see how I smell, bro.
Because you'll die from like smoke inhalation before the fire gets you, right?
Not necessarily. Look at the people that was jumping off of them, off of the buildings for 9/11. Like, that's how bad fire is. Fire will make you look at all these stories. You feel me?
Yeah.
And say, you know what?
I can make it.
I might can make it. You feel me? Like, logic is out of the window with fire. You feel me? It's like fire a bad boy, man. Like a hot, like have you ever?
The name of the podcast.
Have you ever had like a hot grit fall on you?
Oh,
that ain't even fire.
No, that's just hot.
One grit, one hot grit
Yeah.
will make you go put a shirt on for the rest, to finish these grits.
Or
So
even when you're
I
cooking
like hot
pork
oil,
in the thing
yeah.
and like it starts popping and whatnot, like
Yeah.
that.
yeah, heat is a bad boy, man.
Oh, going
Like,
back to the cooking and the colorblind thing too, because that always annoyed me too as a kid. Because everybody would pretend like, not everybody, but there's people that pretend like they don't notice anything.
Right.
When they come into your house and they see the food you cook is different. And all
Right,
that
right.
stuff. So I just like, I just don't like liars.
Right.
So like acknowledge
Embrace
that
it,
it's
you know what I'm saying?
different.
Exactly,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
saying you don't see gender, or you don't see sex, or you don't see.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I can tell
Like-
this is a woman, this is a man.
Right,
this is
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I guess now you're not supposed to assume that.
But
you know
anyone
they.
either.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But you don't know what to say when it comes to food at somebody's house, because if it's different, what
Oh,
you
none of
used
my
to-
friends like the Arabic food because
You-
it's funky. Like,
Yeah, like
it would be
you
like
don't-
yogurt, lamb.
Like,
we
it's
make
like-
we have a lot of
Dang.
yogurt sauces that we put on meat, and then on
Yeah.
top of
Huh.
Oh.
So then like he'll just be like, I don't know
Yogurt
about it.
sauce, just
Yeah.
just
Oh,
that
Yogurt
phrase.
on a
ugh.
piece of meat. That's just what I imagine. You like.
The only people
With
that
like
like
cucumbers
it-
cut in it, right? And then it's just like on the
We
on
mess
the
with
meat.
cucumber.
Yeah.
I'm saying the only people that like it are Arabs and like adventurous white people. Are the only two people like that's it.
So isn't like the gyro Arab food?
It's Greek.
Okay.
And
Okay.
All right.
Everybody says gyro, but we usually say gyro.
Really?
We have something similar called shawarma, which is like,
Shawarma.
Yeah, and that's like I love that. There's food that you would
That's
love.
the
Yeah.
spinning
But
meat.
I'm just saying, yeah, it's the spinning meat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying that what my mom would
Yeah,
make.
yeah.
Sometimes it'd be
You
pretty
know what?
funky.
No, because I mean, it's with each
To me,
like every
even.
culture, like you just said, is food you eat and it's food you don't. Like with us in the the quote unquote black community, it's like
Yeah.
chitlins for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It sells the deal. Like I'm not about to eat that,
No.
bro. Like
No.
close that pot for real.
Yeah, that's the
You
line.
feel me? Like, why is you even doing that right there? Like chitlins. But
Yeah.
like, because we went to my sister had the Christmas little get together at her house and they had chitlins and stuff like that. So when I walked in, I didn't know we never had chitlins over there before. You know what I'm saying? So I walk in the house and I go up and I'm talking to my brother-in-law, and unbeknownst to me, the pot sitting next to where we standing at on the counter. So the lid is cracked. And he's talking to me. I'm like, man, his breath is whooping like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But come to find out, it was chitlins. You feel me? Like I could never eat a chitlin, dog. But they, the ones that did was actually sitting there like slurping it. And like me and my sons had a whole we cracked up the whole time about it. Me and because we silly like that. But it's like to sit there and
Like, it don't even look good.
No, and that
Right.
yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
thing because we do something similar where we stuff intestines with
Right.
rice and beef and whatnot.
Right.
And then we do the same thing with the stomach, and I love it. I eat it, and I was eating. My cousin, she married a white guy who he's Catholic, he doesn't know anything about this, and I was just sitting there eating it and chopping it. And that's not everybody's talking and stuff, but then sure enough, this guy it just got up and left real fast and was green in the face
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Okay,
We didn't even recognize.
do y'all
that was
eat the
nasty.
intestines or just the stuff out the middle?
No, we eat the
whole deal.
intestines. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
she hoses them out. She hoses them out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like chitlins.
You cook them in it. You bake it. The stuff
No,
on the
we,
inside.
we stew it in a big pot, and we stuff it, and then we stew it.
That sound like when cats be in jail, they do the they call them molies. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to work in a jailhouse, as a sheriff, and they used to have the molies, but they the molies was good. Like that's the type of sheriff I was, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like if I
Trying to get a bite.
huh? Yeah, like the tail rep would come up and I ain't get breakfast or something like that. He'll come up and he'd be like, man, Cap, because they used to call me Captain Cool. I wasn't like no law enforcement type dude. That never was really me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was a job I was able to get.
Yeah.
So the first time I remember having one, I ain't getting nothing to eat. But the tail rep was cool with me. Like, man, I got some of this moly like that. And I'm like, a moly? What's a moly like that? So he brought
like
it.
Molly?
It's a moly,
what?
and it was another one. The other one, I can't remember what it was called, but that's what they did with breakfast. The moly, they made like a dessert.
So what
with
was
the
the moly?
Oreos? The moly, it was like Oreo cookies or something like that. Any kind of cookies.
Okay.
And you whatever else sweet, and you make the cookie. You take the cookie and you make like a dough with it, and wrap all the other sweet stuff in it and cook it in a turlet. Because the water in the turlet get that hot, you will burn your stuffing up. I didn't know it.
Why does it get that hot?
I don't know. I mean, I guess they have to heat it up. The one that I worked at was what was it? HOD, House of Detention, and they had the balconies where they didn't the jail. The floor was right here, the aisle, and then you had the cells. But after this is all outside of the building. You know what I'm saying? So it's right there, and I mean, but anyway, that was the most. I would try it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I
The only thing I
You
feel
were
like
really
they're
hungry.
rolling it up with their hands, so you got all their
Yeah.
sweat and whatnot in this
Yeah.
cookie. Then you cook it in the toilet.
what you just said. You'll try anything when you're hungry.
That's probably what made it good.
You know what I'm
though.
saying?
Dude, there was this plant, because I traveled through Vietnam, and all those countries
You
around
did?
it. Yeah.
Oh.
I lived there for I lived in that area for 3 months.
Probably have diarrhea all the time.
No, but there was this one fruit, or no one imports, you don't probably even know this exists. It's called durian.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard
What
of
is
it?
it? What
It's
is it?
literally, it's like a plant that tastes like a room temperature dump.
Wait, how do you know what a room temperature
it's been
don't
sitting
taste
there
like?
for a few minutes.
I might have seen this on the Travel Channel.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Was it a big yellow thing?
Our tour guide tricked us into what's got like you can look
So
up a
it
picture.
would taste. You saying it would taste like a room
temperature
dump would smell to you.
Oh, well, no, it's just the taste, man. It's the
I-
taste.
how
They
you
make
know
literally
It
like
might
they
be the
don't.
texture of it.
Yeah, and the
like a
texture.
room
It's
temperature dump.
literally like
What you
that
think of room
perfectly
temperature
describes
dump?
it.
Right.
How'd you
What
get tricked into eating it?
But my tour guide was like, "Oh, you have to try this," and then he had us all try it at the same time. I was like, "Ha, I get everyone with that." like it was like that kind of a deal. And they make like because they like the taste of it because they grew up around it and
Right.
stuff. So they like make stuff out of it. Like they make like durian ice cream.
No, yeah.
Like it's just like the nastiest tasting food, man. Like
No, yeah, but there's some, yeah. Same thing with Arabs, we do like they make like a stuffed cabbage.
yeah.
And then they stew it and they put it in that Tupperware, and as soon as you crack it, it really smelled like somebody took a dump on the stove.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I was seeing this Arab chick for a few months last year, and some of the stuff she brought from home, like on her lunches and stuff, was just nasty. Like I don't even
Like
know the
what?
name of any of it. I could just smell it from the microwave, like she microwave. You know when
it
you know when
never
you've got that
smells good when you
smell.
I just don't like
yeah.
any food that's been in a Tupperware than in the microwave. It always
Oh.
come out musty.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had a guy I worked with before he was from Haiti, and it's a fish dish that they have that he put in the microwave, and it smelled like spoiled fish. You know what I'm saying? Once it like stunk up the whole room.
Dude,
you know
even
what I'm saying?
regular fish, if you put that
That's
in a
so
microwave.
rude when they do that at work.
Yeah.
When they microwave fish and
Oh, I know,
There's so
right?
much
Or
stuff,
microwave.
man.
So rude.
There's
Yeah,
so
we
much
both
stuff.
have like similar jobs. We both,
Yeah.
like, we went from that office job where you could smell
Like-
it all over the floor.
like when I have fish, I go like on another floor and microwave it in
Ah,
their break room.
in their floor.
And then
Ah.
leave. So then like who did this? You know?
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
But I mean, you still. So you saying it's rude to your fellow coworkers
Yeah,
on
like
that
it's
floor?
inconsiderate. Yeah, like
But you then went upstairs and did it.
my fellow,
in the-
they are my coworkers on the second floor. I don't know them.
Right.
Like the,
Y'all
yeah.
did-
Oh,
Y'all
dude, me and my
Yeah,
like, cause there's
I work on a-
apparently people like to microwave fish where I work. So like I placed bets. I won $20 one time because I was like, I bet 7 people are gonna walk by and mention the fish smell, and I got it right on the head. Like,
Yeah.
But I'm saying
Yeah.
you're in the same building, Gabe.
But no, they ain't my coworkers though. That's the second floor. They beneath me.
So y'all got gangs.
they should
You've
have
been
got
there like in a morning.
Yeah,
Y'all got-
they should have.
Gang.
They should have got a degree.
Right,
That's
right.
all I'm saying.
So
like
y'all got gangs at y'all job.
we got what
Gangs.
gangs.
First floor against the second. Like,
It ain't
you know,
even that. It's just like I don't know.
Like,
I don't even
do
know
you
what
have
company
to-
that is on that floor.
Do
I
you
don't, I
have to
don't know
sneak
them.
in there to use the break room?
No, I ain't got to sneak. I walk right in.
Like, cause if
they
like,
think you work there. Like,
Yeah, and then they're like, who did it?
Sometimes.
They can't find me. Like after I do it, half the time nobody's in there anyway. But people work on the floor, but
Yeah.
nobody goes to that
It's the
break
second
room like
floor.
that. It's
Yeah.
the second
See,
floor.
you gonna be the cause of them splitting up into gangs, cause somebody gonna come up and say, I ain't do it. The whole second floor gonna say that, and gonna be, it gotta be the first floor guys. You know what I'm saying?
I'm on the fourth, so,
when
like they gotta
yeah.
really look.
Yeah.
you on the fourth floor.
Yeah, I purposely go like
But
at
you know
least
what?
2 floors
You know
either
what?
way. If I take a dump, I'm on the 6th floor.
I do the same.
Or if I
Yeah.
like, or the second,
But you
or the
know what's
first.
funny?
I don't do it on like the 5th or the 3rd because that's too
Yeah.
close.
Here's the funny thing though, you actually then told on yourself live, like, so now they know.
They don't know what company it is.
Yeah,
they gonna be like, you look familiar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because what I found out.
Am I back to the
we
camera?
Mr. George gonna tell y'all, man, we gonna have a little celebration or whatever, but he said we had like 500,000 followers, man. You know what I'm saying? He said their numbers came in. So yeah, you got somebody in that 500,000 gonna
Wait,
recognize
who's
it.
got 500,000? Wait, who's got 500,000?
The show. Yeah, he'll tell y'all about it afterwards. You know what I'm saying? It'll be some stuff we can talk. Like, I don't. Right. That's what I'm saying. I was like, when he told me that, I'm like, nah, Mr. George.
Like I just
like
did a
that.
mic for 8 people. Like I'm not on a 500,000, but
All right,
I
he'll
just
show it
didn't
to
get on
y'all.
the show.
I mean, like I say, man,
get booked.
shoot, I see it though. I see it as a possibility, bro, because
yeah, anything.
what we got, like I said, is a good little chemistry. Look how many subjects we just covered. You know what I'm saying? That was tabooish type deals and still wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the way society would have us, we couldn't even sit down at the table right now and talk about some of the stuff we talk about without swinging no blows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that's the good chemistry of it and stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well, it's good. Like me, one other thing I was thinking about that you just made me think of was we were talking about this earlier this week at Arcadia. Just like how like when it comes to comedians, it's like I feel like I automatically have like respect for anyone who gets like in front of a mic.
right.
Right, like, because 99% of the people who get, like, in front of a mic for stand-up or something are going to be, like, funny. They might not be good at stand-up,
Right,
but they're,
right.
like, a funny person.
Right.
They're good, and they had the balls to, like, get
Right.
up in front of people and face, like, people's number one fear.
You
Right.
recognize that same aspect of what I was talking about earlier, the critical thinking aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like looking at stuff that I'm supposed to be offended by and not really be offended by it. You know what I'm saying? Like they share that same mind. It's just that the one that can hold a title as a comedian or legendary comedian and stuff like that came with the comfort aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like they could bring that and it just was like I'm real. Like I watched Dave Chappelle last. I can't think of how to pronounce it, but it was with the
I think it's equanimity.
Yeah.
Okay, equanimity. I think, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
I watched that, man, and like he even though he had the people laughing and you was expecting to come to see a comedy show, he was educating you as he was making you laugh. As to why, you know what I'm saying? As to why this is funny. I'm explaining this to you. Why y'all trying to attack me like, oh no, you ain't supposed to be laughing at this and that like that. Okay, well let me explain it to you, show you the humor in it, and then you tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
amazing.
That's the basic conversation you want to have with anybody. If we come across, like when we talk to one another, I'm supposed to be open enough to understand that you might offend me with the way that you think. But if it's an opposition towards that, like the like minds think alike type deal go into play. If you open-minded, like I can open-mindedly tell you something about how, you know, like that made me feel. And then you say, well, I ain't mean for you to take it that way. And then that will force them to be like, okay, well, not everybody hold it like I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where that dialogue has to come in at. And that's when you start seeing like natural.
I wish I had enough time to tell this story real quick, but it relates to
We
what
got
you
about
said.
like 3 minutes.
That clock's
left.
like 2
All
minutes off, I
There,
think.
there was a when I first started doing stand-up, I was just still finding like what type of jokes to say and whatnot. And one of my jokes was kind of, I guess, offensive. I didn't think it was that offensive. Though.
Offensive how?
It was about Rosa Parks.
Okay.
And it was saying like I took an African American study class, and like the one thing I learned was Rosa Parks like the most famous one-hit wonder of all time. You know what I mean? I'm saying like, oh, whatever, she's like the Coolio of the civil rights movement.
I
And
think
whatnot.
I remember that joke.
And then I did it, and then this like black dude came up after me. He's like, you know that joke, like he told me it's funny, but he's like, you know, like that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so we're having this conversation, right?
Yeah, versus him just coming up and yelling.
We're both just
Right, his emotions.
We're both having a real conversation.
Right.
I was like, oh, I didn't know it was like that. You know, I was like, I'm still trying to figure out. I'm just saying stupid stuff in the mic and hoping it sticks.
Right.
But then this other dude out of nowhere. This is like, no. He like came to my defense and was like, no, she really didn't do nothing. And then he made us both look bad because he was on some racist stuff.
Right.
And then that guy walked off, and I'm like, now he grouped just us together. And all
Right,
this
right,
stuff.
right,
So I'm
right.
saying, like, you can have a productive argument. All it takes is like that one person just wrecked the whole thing. Because we're having a good, productive conversation.
Yeah, because basically, you know, it could have led into, you know what I'm saying, like, seeing that, you know, like what you might have took as being nothing was something. You know what I'm
Which
saying?
I was.
Right.
I stopped doing it. I was like, that's just, I'm
That's
not
fair.
trying to step on.
Okay, because I have this one joke. I actually got called a racist on stage for this last night, but I've had a bunch of people tell me it was like one of the best jokes, like, or at least like a really good joke. Like, or one of the best jokes I've got.
Right.
It's that one. It's basically the punchline is this guy. This is a true story. This guy was being racist, and I rocked up on him, and then I thought he was being sexist for a second, not racist.
Oh, I know which one.
Yeah. So like, and then it got a little laugh. It was probably like the smallest laugh in my set because I feel like maybe I said it different or something. But someone was like, "That's racist," and I was like, "How is it racist?" Like, I don't get it. Like, did I not say it right? Like, did you misunderstand me? Because it's not.
No,
it's
that
not
one
racist.
racist.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm just talking about someone who was racist.
Right.
And I'm not saying anything
But
wrong
see, that's
in there.
that's
I'm
the
just-
whole like that's the like I say, and we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing, that when you go ahead and you buy into the religion that is racism, you know what I'm saying? When you buy into that, it stops you from being a critical thinker, like to actually see whether or not it was the emotion behind it. Because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's the energy behind whatever you say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we come back next week and bring it back up and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Because we gotta let the ladies from the Toast get on and do their thing, man. And we appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Yeah.
Tell a friend to tell a friend, man. And y'all enjoy y'all night. All right.
All right. Appreciate it.